All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Wahar, Kwadash. Double honors to my apostles and elders, a great millstone, the men that taught me the truth through the Spirit. Peace and blessings to the elect of the house of Israel that scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Today, we will be going into what are the three transgressions of Edom for thy violence against thy brother Jacob. I didn't really know what I wanted to title it, but I do know that I wanted to go into the book of Obadiah when it went into basically how Edom stood on the other side and what was that talking about. And me digging into that topic, it just uncovered the rest of the topics concerning the transgressions of Edom and the house of Edom. Okay. And Lord's will, this is edifying. So let's get into it. This is the book of Amos, chapter 1, verse 11. It says, Thus saith Yahweh, for three transgressions of Edom, and for four I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and they cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and kept his wrath forever. In the NLT it says, This is what the Lord says. The people of Edom, shalom, shalom, family. La familia. It says the people of Edom have sinned again and again, and I would not let them go unpunished. They chased down their relatives, the Israelites, with swords, showing them no mercy. In their rage, they slashed them continually and were unrelenting in their anger. Now, first and foremost, Edom is known as the Caucasian race today. And the reason why they're known as Edomites, going back to their forefathers Esau, which came out red and hairy, okay? And Caucasian people today, they have no skin complexion. They have no melanin. And that's why their blood shows forth through their skin. That's why they look pale, see-through people, basically. They're see-through people. They lack pigmentation. That's why the blood shows forth through their skin. That's why they have a reddish hue or a pink hue about them, like this man right here, right? And that's why they're known as Edomites. Well, since we're going into it, you might as well, for edification's sake, we gotta always teach as if there's somebody listening for the first time. So this is Genesis 25:25. This is the origins of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans and Caucasian people. This is our forefathers. Genesis 25:25. I'll read up above. Verse 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padamaram, the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife, because she was barren, and Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. So Rebekah was barren, meaning she was unable to have kids. So she went to her husband Isaac. Isaac, in turn, went to a prophet and prayed unto the Lord. And the Lord answered his prayers, and then his wife became pregnant after they had sex. Okay? And his children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. So she had a rough pregnancy. Why? Because the children that was inside of her was fighting. Okay? And she was wondering, I finally got pregnant, but now I'm having a rough pregnancy. Why the hell is this going on? So she in turn once again went to the prophet and asked the Lord, why is she having such a rough pregnancy? And Yahweh said unto her, two nations are in thy womb. So two different nationalities, two different races was inside her womb. It says, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. So when these two children are being born, they will be two different nationalities, two completely different races. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So it says the elder shall serve the younger, is giving us clues how these two different races would be on the planet Earth. One shall be stronger than the other. So it says, when her days to be delivered would be fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. So she had fraternal twins, okay? Meaning two different, even though they came out at the same time, they would be completely different. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And when you look up the meaning of Esau, it comes from the Hebrew word Ishashawa, which means wasted away is he. So when Esau came out of Rebekah, he looked like he was basically dead because he lacked pigmentation. So Isaac ain't like, yo, this guy look wasted away. He don't look alive, right? As white people look when they're born. All baby lacks pigmentation when they come out the womb. But these people, they look especially unalive. That looks like a dead child compared to so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American. Though they still lack pigmentation just coming out the womb, they don't look as unalive as these people do. So that's why his name was Esau. Wasted away is he. And he said it was red all over, which is another clue of who the Caucasian race is today. And it says, after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, which was symbolic. And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 old when she bare them. Now notice it didn't give a description of Jacob because Jacob came out looking like everybody else on the planet Earth. He looked regular. He had pigment. He had melanin. Versus Esau, he had no pigment or melanin. So now going back to Amos, it said, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away his punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword. Now let's get into it. Because he did this more than one time. That's why it says for 3 transgressions of Edom. There's more than one time Esau pursued Jacob with the sword. All right, let's dig into it. Genesis 27:41. It says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning of my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And that's a sin, man. The scriptures say, if you love the heavenly father but hate your brother on earth, even that's a sin. That's evil in the sight of the Lord. It says from that time on in NLT, Esau hated Jacob because their father had given Jacob the blessing, and Esau began to scheme. I will soon be mourning my father's death because Isaac was up in age. It says, then I will kill my brother Jacob. And that's that same spirit that Cain had on him when he murdered his brother Abel. The spirit of jealousy, the spirit of envy, and the spirit is just straight up wickedness, man. The spirit of the devil, right? Cain was the first murderer on the planet Earth. And Esau is the word escaped me. Basically, Esau has that same spirit that Cain had. He wanted to murder his brother instead of being his brother's keeper, right? So Esau himself did not murder the man Jacob, right? But in the next carnations, in the next lifetimes, Esau will be going to war with Jacob, pursuant to, once again, Genesis 25 and 22. And the children struggle together within her. Since our conceptions, Jacob and Esau has been going to war with each other, right? So once again, it said Esau hated Jacob, his brother, and he said, "Then will I kill my brother." Esau himself, the man Esau, did not kill Jacob. But once again, in the next lifetimes, in the next carnations, Esau will go to war with Jacob and kill Jacob. This is Exodus chapter 17, verse 8. It says, Then came Amalek. Amalek is one of the sons of Esau, and fought with Israel in Rephidim. And Moses said unto Joshua, Choose out men and go out and fight with Amalek. Once again, the children struggle within the womb. This is the same struggling that's going on generations later on. I hate, let's get it again. Esau hated Jacob, right? This is it happened in the book of Exodus. And this is one of the transgressions of Edom. Going back to that, one of the transgressions of Edom. The first one's hating his brother Jacob and plotting to murder him. And then during the time of Exodus, when we was leaving out of Egypt, for no goddamn reason, Amalek just went to war with us. He was trying to stop us from fucking passing through, right? So it says, tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill with the rod of the Most High in my hand. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses and Aaron and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. So there you go. This is one of the transgressions of Edom, right? Amalek murdering Jacob. It says, but Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on one side and the other on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua discomforted Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Write this for a memorial in the book and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built the altar and called the name Jehovah Nissi. For he said, because Yahweh have sworn that Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So I don't know where Jake sits there and says that we are not supposed to hate Edomites. Where clearly the Most High has an indignation for Esau, Edom, right? These people went to war with, and then even down to today, Amalek and Esau are still giving us hell. We're clearly their slaves. Clearly. We got to go to them for the one of all things. And there's nothing happy about that. That's a curse. There's nothing pleasant about a curse. So you got our people saying, don't hate Edomites. They out there rabbit ass mind. There's nothing pleasant or bliss about captivity. Scripture says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. You supposed to be pissed the hell off. You supposed to be sighing and crying for going to work for this devil, or gotta go to this devil for the wonderful old things, and begging the Lord to save us from this captivity. But I digress. The second time, right? Another transgression of Edom. Numbers chapter 20, verse 15. It says, how our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And we cried unto Yahweh, and he heard our voice and sent the angel and brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the utmost of thy border. Let us pass. Salakia. Numbers 20 and 14. And Moses sent messages from Kadesh unto king of Edom. Thus saith my brother Israel, thou knowest all the travail that has befallen us. So this is after we just came out of Egypt and we were seeking passage. We wasn't seeking to eat their food, to do trade, nothing, just to get by, right? Thus saith thy brother Israel, thou knowest all the travail that has befallen us, how our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And we cried unto Yahweh, he heard our voice, and sent the angel, and have brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the utmost of thy border. Let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through thy fields or through the vineyards, neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand nor to the left until we have passed through thy borders. And Edom saith unto him, thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword. Once again, Esau hated Jacob because of their father had given Jacob the blessing, and Esau began to scheme. I will soon be mourning my father's death. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. This is still going on generations later, right? Why didn't Amalek let Moses and Israel pass? Because of what happened with their forefathers. They're continuing the beef that their granddaddy had with our great granddaddy. Their great granddaddy had with our great granddaddy. Right? He passed that hatred on to his descendants. Right? Which he's his descendants coming back. So it says, and the children of Israel said unto him, we will go by the highway, and if I and my cattle drink of thy water, then I will pay for it. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet. And he said, thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border, wherefore Israel turned away from him. And the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, journeyed from Kadesh and came onto Mount Hor. See, we had to walk the long fucking way because the Edomites didn't want us to get past. So it says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor by the coast of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered. All right, that was in on that. Yes, another transgression of Edom. So this nigga been piling up sins from generation to generation. He been piling up offenses from each generation, man. The next one I want to get is Obadiah. This is Obadiah chapter 1, verse 10. So it says, for the violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Everything that this ninja did to our people, going all the way back to their forefather Esau, going all the way back to the Amalekites, constantly going to war with us, because it wasn't just one time. It was one time they didn't allow us passage, but then a couple of times they went to war with us, right? It says, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into the gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. NLT, when they were invaded, we was invaded by who? The Babylonians, right? Headed by Nebuchadnezzar. You stood aloof, refusing to help them. Foreign invaders carried off their wealth and cast lots to divide up Jerusalem, but you acted like one of Israel's enemies. And that's exactly what Esau did. Now let's get it. This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 24, verse 10. It says, at the time, the service of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem, and the city was besieged. And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against the city, and his servants did besiege it. And Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon, he and his mother and his servants and his princes and his officers, and the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign. And he carried out thence all the treasures of the house of Yahweh and the treasures of the king's house, and says, and cut in pieces all the vessels of gold which Solomon, king of Israel, had made in the temple of Yahweh, as Yahweh had said. And he carried away all Jerusalem, and all the princes, and all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives, and all the craftsmen and smiths. None remained, save the poorest sort of the people of the land. And he carried away Jehoiakim to Babylon, and the king's mother, and the king's wives, and his officers, and the mighty of the land, those carried into captivity from Jerusalem to Babylon. And all the might and men of might, even 7,000, and the craftsmen and the smiths and the thousands, all that were strong and apt for war, even them the king of Babylon brought captives to Babylon. And the king of Babylon made Matthias, his father, brother's king, in his stead, and changed his name to Zedekiah. All right, so when this was going on, guess what the Edomites was doing? They was helping them, right? Okay. Let me see. This is the map right here, right? So when we got conquered and we got kicked out of our land, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi was taken out of Jerusalem, right? Went across Syria, right? And they came all the way to Babylon, right? Edom is right underneath Jerusalem, right? The kingdom of Edom is right under Jerusalem, right? So when the Babylonians was kicking our ass, where that map at? One second. I'm looking for a map. Here we go. Here we go. I'm just going to use this thing. I hope y'all can see. But anyway, Israel, this is during the time of the Assyrian Empire. We got scattered through there. And then, the tribes left. and they came to the Western Hemisphere, but Judah, Benjamin, and Levi was still behind. And then when Babylon came, they kicked us out the game land. And guess what? Edom helped them. And then when we got kicked out of the land, Esau started taking our land, right? So it says, verse 12, but thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. See, we became a stranger. Israel show you that Israelites can be strangers. Israelites can be Gentiles. All right, depending on the context. So it says, neither shouldst thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldst thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. This is another transgression of Edom. Edom rejoiced when the Babylonians was taking us down and starving us to death and kicked us out the land and put us in slavery. It says, thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Because it wasn't only the Babylon, they also helped steal our precious items, right? The poorest that was in land, they put them into bondage, they murdered them, right? And they stole our land. Basically, they took whatever spoils was left that the Babylonians didn't take. So it says, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldst thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in a day of distress. They partook in our downfall, man. You should not have stood in the crossroads, killing those who tried to escape. You should not have captured the survivors and handed them over in a terrible time of trouble, right? But that's that perpetual hatred that Esau had towards his brother, right? The children struggle together in the womb. And this is one of the transgressions of Edom. It's the damn devil, man. It says, neither shouldst thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. Right? And what's that reward? Slavery. Revelations 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. It is the patience and the faith of the saints. Esau has to pay. Esau has to pay. Exodus chapter 21, verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. He shall surely be put to death. These are the penalties Esau will have to pay for. It said kidnappers must be put to death, whether they are caught in possession of their victims or have already sold them as slaves. Esau got hell to pay, man. Esau has hell to pay. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 4, verse 45. It says, thou also hast vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites burnt when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldees, right? So Esau partook in the burning of the temple, man. Esau partook in the destruction of Jerusalem. So they got to pay for that. Psalms chapter 137, verse 7. It says, remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O Lord, remember what the Edomites did on the day the armies of the Babylonians captured Jerusalem. Destroyed it, they yelled. Level it to the ground. So they was cheering for the heathens when they was taking us down. And that's that same spirit their forefather Esau had. I will kill my brother Jacob. Destroy it, they yelled. Leveled it to the ground. That's what they yelled to the Babylonians. It says, O daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. So they're going to pay for what they did to us. Happy is the one who paid you back for what you have done to us, which the payback was the Medo-Persian Empire. All right? That was the Babylonian, that was the payback for what the Babylonians did to Israel, the Medo-Persian Empire. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. And that's what the Persians did to them. But soon, this is going to happen to Esau. All right? Because that is the patience and the faith of the saints. For the violence against thy brother Jacob. Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 12. Thus saith Yahweh, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. This is what the sovereign Yahweh says. The people of Edom have sinned greatly by avenging themselves against the people of Judah. And that happened when the Babylonians was taking us down. Now you got proper context and understanding and what this is talking about. Right? And therefore, thus saith Yahweh, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and I will cut off man and beast from it. And I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, I will raise my first judgment against Edom. I will wipe out its people and animals with the sword. I will make a wasteland of everything from Teman and Dedan. It says, thus saith the Lord power, Salakia, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith Yahweh. All right? So all this is going to happen because of you laying your hands on the apple of the Lord's eye. You are going to pay for every Israelite blood that was shed on the planet Earth. We ain't supposed to hate Edomites. 1 Samuel 15:2. Thus saith Yahweh, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way, and when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all they have, and spare them not, but slay both men and women, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. All right? So this is going all the way back to when the Lord commanded Saul to do it, which he didn't do it. He went off. All right? But this right here just cuts, don't hate Edomites. If the Lord told us don't hate Edomites, why would he command Saul to murder, not to murder, to kill all of the house of Amalek and their kids and their women and their animals. Because God knows what they do to the animals. That's why the Lord told us to kill them. All right? Deuteronomy 25:17. Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way when you were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way and smote the hindermost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not God. Therefore it shall be, when Yahweh thy power hath given thee rest from all thy enemies round about, in the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven, thou shalt not forget it. And that's what's written, man. Esau will be blotted out. Edom will be blotted out. Man, woman, and child. All right? So once again, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, this nation constantly tried to kill us or deny us access or whatever, access of kindness, courtesy. That's why the house of Edom are known as the devil, according to the Bible. And it says, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword. And this happened multiple times. But this is speaking about the time when the Babylonians took us over. And did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. But pretty much that's it, man. The water for tuning in. I pray and hope that y'all was edified. Leave your comments, ask your questions. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Wahar Rakakwadash. Till next time, I say Shalom.